Thinking about cruising the Mexican Riviera on the Carnival Firenze? Well, hold up. This is not your typical Carnival cruise.
We recently traveled on the Carnival Firenze out of Long Beach on a 5-day Mexican Riviera cruise. And so we wanted to give you our honest opinion of this cruise so that you can make an informed decision on whether this might be or might not be the best cruise for you. So let's dive into it.
We ranked our experiences on the Carnival Firenze in a variety of categories, including ship, entertainment, food, service, and overall value.
Our first category is the ship. The Carnival Firenze was originally built as the Costa Firenze and debuted in 2021 as a Vista-class ship and was supposed to sail in the East Asian market.
Well, Carnival changed up some of their corporate plans, and it was shifted and renamed the Carnival Firenze. This 4,100 passenger ship, 135,000 tons, eventually was moved to Long Beach, California, and has been sailing out of Long Beach down the Mexican Riviera since April 2024. From the minute you board the Firenze, the first thing you will notice is the amazing attention to detail throughout the ship to try to have a theme of the Italian Renaissance. And of course, one cannot forget the huge statue of David they find in the main dining room. Although they did cover the twigs and berries, so I mean, it is a family ship after all.
It is.
The atrium is the center of activity on the ship. And the only thing is, we thought it was a bit small for an atrium on a newer ship.
Yeah.
There just wasn't enough seating, and especially for the number of events that they had in that area, it really was not quite big enough for the crowds.
Yeah, because they had the 80s party there. I think they had the white party there, and it was very crowded, but still a great time. It was just a little bit on the smaller side. In addition to that, the Tuscan Lounge, where they did the karaoke and some of the other events, we thought there was not near enough seating options in there. During karaoke, for instance, people were actually going out onto the lanai and pulling in the chairs from out on the lanai to bring in to sit down on. As for the pools, there was only 2 pools on the entire ship. Both of them were a little bit on the smaller side, but I actually didn't see that many people in the pools, but nonetheless, they have 2 pools. Now, up on the Serenity Lounge on deck 15, I believe it is, that is probably one of the nicest Serenity Lounges I've been on in recent times. I mean, it was well laid out. They had a lot of thick padded loungers. There are 2 hot tubs up there, 2 large hot tubs, but they had a lot of neat little features up there. They had a salad bar along with their standard bar where your Cheers package works.
They still didn't have an adults-only pool.
But they did not have an adults-only pool up there. They did have these little cabanas that had some really fun swings that weren't tied down, so you could really get some air going. But it was a really nice lounge overall, adult retreat area. So if you're over 21 or over, definitely get up there and check that out if you're on the ship. We thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. The Lido area also is covered, which I thought is really nice. It is a retractable cover. Now, the entire time we were there, it was closed, which I personally was okay with. I heard some people complaining about it, that they wanted it open, but it was a bit chilly. And so I was actually really glad that they had it covered.
The fitness center was a little bit on the smaller side. I've been on other ships filming, and their fitness centers have been 2-3 times that size. And it does everything you need it to. They got the treadmills and some free weights and machines and so on, but it just wasn't a very expansive area. Along with that, their spa is on the smaller side. You could still get your massages and so forth, but they don't have any thermal type spas that you see on some of the newer ships.
I was also really surprised at how small the children's area, the splash pad,
Splash away.
was on this particular ship. Carnival usually markets itself as a family cruise line, and I thought, weren't traveling with kids this time, but I still thought it was a little small and didn't really have as much as I've seen on other ships in terms of splashing stuff for little kiddos.
Yeah, all that fitness center, spa, and the kids splash area, that's on deck 12. If you're interested in looking at a ship tour of it, I could post a link down below of the ship tour.
I will say, one of my favorite parts about this ship is there were a lot of little nooks and crannies. If you're one of those people who want to sit and find a good place to read a book or to have a nice conversation, this ship is for you. It's got a lot of little great nooks and crannies and spots you can go that are quiet and spread out all over the ship, assuming you can find a seat.
Yeah, the Moto Lounge is an excellent place to go and just get away. It was never busy when I checked it out. And along with that, the second level of the Lido deck up above, there's a lot of little couches and spots where you can kind of get away. They had like some board games and stuff you can always play. So that was another little nook and spot that was great for getting away and spending a little time away from everybody.
Yeah. But overall, I thought this ship was very clean. I thought our room was very comfortable. We ended up getting a upgrade to a balcony room. And I mean, it was spick and span clean. It was something we really
It's
liked.
a very nice room. It's probably one of the nicest rooms we've had.
Yeah, it was. It was one of the nicest rooms we've had. And it was clean and comfortable. And if you want to look more about the room tour, we'll post that link below as well.
Okay, so the final score for the ship. What did you get out of this?
Personally, I would give the ship a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
I thought that the decor was beautiful. I thought that the ship was very clean and very well maintained, and it should be. It's a newer ship. It really shouldn't be a lot of broken stuff and all that stuff. I did think, though, I was just really surprised at how few pools they were, how small they were. There just seems that there were a few details uh, in the actual customer experience part that they really should have taken a little more into account.
Yeah, I also gave it a 4, mostly because even though I loved the ship overall, there were parts of it that felt a little claustrophobic to me. I loved the Lido deck. It just felt a little because with the roof and having 2 stories, it just kind of felt kind of enclosed a little bit. So for me, it was more so that great ship overall. But then I also look at it from the standpoint, if you have a family, the splash pads were a little lacking, those kind of things. So I just kind of looked at it in a general sense and gave it a 4.
Yeah, if you're looking to swim and spend a lot of time in the water, eh,
They've got it.
they've got it, but there are other ships that just do it a lot better.
Yeah. Hey, everyone, just wanted to pop in. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to like and subscribe and click the notification bell.
It helps our small channel to grow. We really appreciate it.
Yep, we do. And it helps us to bring you new content on cruising every week. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Our next category is entertainment. This ship does have a lot of different entertainment options for various tastes in terms of entertainment. First, we're going to start by talking about the main theater. I thought the main theater was a little bit small for the size of the ship.
I thought it was okay, but okay.
Yeah, I just thought it was a little small for the size of the ship. But one of the big things I was surprised about on this ship is the lack of theater shows. I don't know if we've just gotten spoiled on other cruise lines. We haven't been on Carnival in a few years, but it just seemed like there wasn't a lot in the evening in terms of large production shows, whether it be singing and dancing. And sometimes they would have them, but they were scheduled at really weird times, like around dinner. So even if we would have wanted to go to them, it was a little bit more difficult to actually put that together.
Yeah, that's true. I will say, I think they only had a couple of theater type shows on a 5-day cruise. So one of them was the first night they gave kind of like a little glimpse.
Mm.
And then they had a getting married on the ship theater show, which was actually kind of fun.
That I liked. But yeah, I was surprised there wasn't more, whether it's just some singing show, some more singing. I was just surprised. We've gotten used to, MSC usually has a big theater production every single evening. When we were on Royal Caribbean, they had Grease. I just thought there'd be more for a 5-day
But they
cruise.
did have the other shows. They had the Deal or No Deal. They had the Love and Marriage show. So I think that in the bigger picture, though, they did have enough variety of things to do in the evenings. And people seem to really get into those other shows. But yes, theater shows, I mean, I could take or leave sometimes the theater shows, but the ones they did have, they were entertaining nonetheless.
I just wanted more of them.
Yeah. Then there's the comedians.
Comedians.
Love the comedians
We
on
love
Carnival.
stand-up comedy, so this is something that we truly enjoy.
And I think, in my opinion anyways, I think Carnival does comedy better than any other cruise line. So they had a couple of comedians, and we went to the Punchliner Club. And then one night they actually brought them both on stage in the theater and brought everybody in that way
What a showcase.
as a showcase. Yeah.
And
And
that was fun. And both the adult shows as well as the, family-friendly shows, all of them were funny. Both the comedians were fantastic. And yeah, this is one area where Carnival always excels. You like stand-up, it's definitely something that you should do if you're on Carnival, is go see the stand-up. And it is different shows each time.
yeah,
Which I think is
and get there early. Get there early. There's always a line backed up, and you may not get in otherwise.
The other thing that we thought were great shows, or I thought were great shows, were a lot of the lounge performers. We went to the piano bar and some of the other little bars in the evenings, and they had some really high quality, talented people playing pianos or other instruments or singing. And
Yeah.
I really enjoyed all of those on this cruise.
The guy in the piano bar, he did a very classy job, and it wasn't overly loud. We sat, maybe about 15, 20 feet away, and we were able to have a conversation with each other and talk while he played, and it wasn't overbearing.
They had a nice variety of lounge performers, and they did a really nice job. Always a shout out to those hardworking musicians.
Then there's the parties.
Party!
I will say Carnival does a great job with parties. Most of them were held in the atrium. Keegan, shout out to Keegan, one of the best cruise directors I've seen on a ship so far.
Yeah. He was fantastic. He was energetic. He was exciting. I think he said it was his first full cruise.
Yeah,
He completely
got upgraded.
control. Yeah, he got a promotion.
So, but just a shout out to him for being such a spectacular cruise director. But the parties that they put on, they had the white party, they had an 80s party, which was fantastic, both in the atrium. And then they had a Lido deck party that was very well attended. And we just thoroughly enjoyed all of the party scenes.
The music was fantastic. They had a great energy. The other workers were really getting everybody jazzed up.
I think it was like a fun squad.
Fun squad.
Fun squad.
And really got everybody excited and active in the parties. So the parties were amazing. And, Carnival's the party ship. So the Firenze really kept with that reputation.
And they do it right.
All right. So here we are. The score in the category of entertainment. I feel like I was a little harsh, but at the same time not. I'm giving Carnival a 3.
A 3?
A 3.
Oh.
It wasn't so much for the entertainment itself. I thought the performers were fantastic. The parties were great. My biggest issue was just so much of the logistics. It felt like everything we went to for activities, there wasn't enough seating. You ended up having to get there super early and then wait around for the fun to start. Or you had to stand and you couldn't even enjoy and relax yourself. And so I don't want to spend my whole vacation standing in line. And so that's why I went down. I thought the logistics side of the entertainment really needs to be worked on this ship.
Well, I get that. I didn't rank them based on that. I ranked them just on the quality of the entertainment. And based on that, I thought they could have probably had one more theater show. And that's why I gave them a little bit lower score. It would have been a 5, but because of that, I downgraded them a little bit to a 4. I just think the parties, they do so well, and the comedy acts are a step above. And with all that rolled into it, I just think Carnival kind of has that dialed in.
Our next category is food, and we're going to break this category into a couple of different subcategories because they are very different experiences. And the first one we're going to talk about is the main dining room.
Our dining room was the Michelangelo restaurant, and that's the 2-story one with the statue of David.
And the food in the main dining room was fine. I mean, that's the thing. I didn't personally think it was that amazing. We had some good meals there. I thought the chicken parmesan was fantastic. Everything was well cooked, everything was seasoned well. It's just nothing really blew my socks off from when we were in the main dining room.
Oh, really? I kind of disagree. I thought every meal we ate there, I thought was solid. I didn't, they weren't like over the top, but they weren't bad. And from past cruise lines that we've been on, there's always been some food that is really spectacular, and then you get 1 or 2 nights and it's kind of eh. Whereas this one, every dinner was very good. The beef tips, I think I had one night, braised beef tips or something, very tender, and that doesn't usually happen with beef on most cruise ships. So I thought the food was actually pretty good.
The only other experience we had in the main dining room, we did go there on the sea day for breakfast. And I was a little disappointed with the variety of food. Usually, when you go in the main dining room, they have some specialties and things that aren't available up on the buffet. And realistically, most of the things that they had available were also up on the buffet. I don't eat eggs. And so, I'm always looking for like pancakes and waffles or something else to kind of and they didn't have very much of that at all. I think they had one thing essentially that I could have. I ended up mostly ordering a la carte stuff. So I was a little disappointed with the brunch in the main dining room. I thought they could have really done a little more to pop that and make that more of an experience.
And I think it took them a while to bring the food out too
Oh, it took forever.
on that brunch day, and it wasn't overly busy either. It just seemed like it took a long time.
Our next area is our experience in the buffet. Now we ate the buffet mostly for breakfast and I think
Yeah.
for lunch a couple of days. And
One time for dinner.
one time, that's true, one time for dinner. And one of the things that I thought about the buffet is I was a little surprised at there just wasn't a lot of variety. In fact, the one evening we went to eat dinner in the buffet, we looked at the menu in the main dining room, nothing really sparked our interest. So we thought, oh, well, we'll go to the buffet. The buffet had all the same things, and there was, like, maybe 1 or 2 dishes on the buffet that weren't in the main dining room, so I thought that was really disappointing.
Yeah.
Also, the lines at the buffet, it really wasn't laid out very well, the lines were terribly long. It took forever to get through to get your food, and, that was a little disappointing too. The layout needs to be a little better.
Yeah, they did have a ton of seating though. That's the one thing I will give this buffet. Past ships we've been on, other cruise lines, we've always had a problem finding a seat. This layout, there was tons of extra seating. So that was a real good positive in my opinion. The other thing was a little bit of a pro tip. If you like eggs, the omelet station didn't really seem to be that busy ever. So if you wanted to get something a little quicker than maybe standing in a long line, check and see if the omelet station was not as busy and you can get an omelet made to order.
One of my favorite things about this ship in terms of food was the wide variety of, I'm gonna call them freebie restaurants that were around the ship where you could grab something, uh, lunch, whatever, really quickly with some really good food. So my first is a standard on almost all Carnival ships, if not all of them. It's Guy's Burgers. Oh my gosh. You can't go wrong with a Guy's Burger. They've the burgers themselves, you get burgers and fries. They've got a little bar where you can put all of your different condiments on there. Guy's Burgers is always fantastic. This ship also had that I really liked, and it was in the pool area, was the Chicken Shack. That was probably one of my favorite meals in this entire cruise was in the Chicken Shack. It was chicken tenders. And it's crazy to get excited about it, but it was done right and it was really, really good. I really enjoyed that. In fact, I was a little disappointed because on some days they changed that out to seafood instead of the chicken. And I was a little sad because the chicken was really, really good. And so that was something I liked. The pizza was also really good on this particular ship.
And then they in the Lido area, they had Tomadoros, which is kind of a fusion between Italian and Mexican. They had some breakfast options as well for that. And then upstairs, you've got El Mercado, which is like hot dogs and a lot of deli sandwiches, meatball subs, those kind of things. And then downstairs was Java Blue. That's kind of a combination. They had some light snacks in there. Your Cheers package does work for some of the coffees, and I think they had shakes in there, that kind of a thing. But then they had some small upcharges for you bought like a small strawberry or
It was a I bought a, strawberry dipped in chocolate. It had cookies and cakes and a few things. Gelato they had in there that was also really good.
that wasn't it. That was might have been
But you had to pay for
yeah,
that.
that was an upcharge. But
Yeah.
but overall, the neat thing about Carnival is they have all these little restaurants all over the place, so you could just quickly grab something, and they're all good, and they're all good. So
They were all really good. Now this particular ship also does offer a variety of specialty dining options. We did not take advantage of any of them on this cruise. They had the bonsai sushi and hibachi, which we've done that on different I think we did that on the Panorama.
panorama
And we've been to the steakhouse on the different ships.
for
So
555.
right. They also had an Italian restaurant that a number of people we talked to on the ship were really excited about. I was almost probably should have gone.
And they have sushi. So they have a lot of options. We just didn't eat them at them on this trip, but we have in the past, and very good overall.
All right, so here we are to the total score. On this category, in terms of the food, I gave them a 4. I thought the food overall was really good. I did not have a bad meal on this particular ship. I just ranked it down as a 4 because I didn't really also have any nothing really blew me away on this
Except the
particular
chicken shack.
chicken shack. I really liked the chicken. But other than that, even in the main dining room, nothing really blew me away. But it wasn't bad. It really was a 4 out of 5.
Myself, I gave it a big old 5.
Big old 5.
Big old 5. I just thought the food overall was very good. I really didn't have any bad dishes in the main dining room, and buffet is a buffet. And but with all the other little options around the ship, I just thought there was so many food options, and the quality was very good overall. I really couldn't downgrade them at all. So that's my opinion. Okay, our next category is service. Our cabin steward, I believe his name was G'day.
Hi, good day.
Hi, G'day. And all of his assistants did just a phenomenal job with our room and keeping it all spotless. But
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things he told us right when we got on board was that Carnival has gone to cleaning the rooms once a day. So if you're used to, multiple times a day, they're not doing that anymore. But I mean, we're not that messy. It's just the two of us. And when they did clean the room, he did a fantastic job. And so I thought the entire ship, in fact, was very clean.
yeah, and very personable. He'd always, if he was in the hall, he'd say hi and ask how we were and so on. So,
But not just him. Like if we'd be walking down the hall, room stewards who weren't ours were
yeah.
always very friendly and would greet us, always good morning, good evening, whatever. And so I thought all of the room folks were really, really
Yeah. The bar staff was incredible. You never went without a drink, whether it was at the bar or whether they had waiters and waitresses walking around. If they thought you needed something, they would ask. If you ordered something, it would not take long for them to bring it. So they were just always right on the ball with everything.
Yeah, I thought the bar service in this particular cruise was fantastic.
Yeah.
Overall, in terms of service, in terms of score, I gave them a 4. And the only reason I did that is there were a couple of people along the way who, especially around the main dining room, the hostesses, they were, I don't know, they seemed a little short. They were very busy, and maybe I'm a little over the top here on this. I'm willing to admit they were a little short and rude. And at one point, we were waiting for our table for breakfast, and they were, I don't know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But overall, I thought the service on the ship was fantastic.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that one time, I get it. I still will rate them a 5, just because I can't knock it all the way down to a 4. So, because everybody was so great overall, I can't do that, and so I'm going to give it once again a big old 5. I
You're
just,
making me out to be meanie.
you big meanie, but yeah, 5 for me.
Our last category is overall value. In other words, did we feel like we got our money's worth on this particular cruise? For this particular cruise, we paid $868 total, which included taxes and fees for this particular cruise. Now, we originally booked an interior room, And so for this 5-day cruise, that worked out to about $86 per person per day for the room that we originally booked. Which brings up this next part. 4 days before we left for California, we got a call from Carnival offering us an upgrade, which we accepted. So our upgrade, we got for $225 total, we were upgraded to an extended balcony room, which made our total price for the cruise $109 per person per day. Now, we accepted this upgrade because, well, it was an extended balcony room.
Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't we? We were actually really excited about that, and we thought the room was amazing. You can check out the video link down in the description if you want to see the video tour for the room that we got upgraded to. And so it certainly made us feel even better about the value of this cruise because we got upgraded. But regardless, $109 per person per day, you get a room, you get food, you get the activities and the entertainment. I mean, that is really an amazing value. And I thought that was really a great trip.
So where does that leave us on the score for the overall value? I think we already know.
Yeah. I gave them a 5. Absolutely. I thought for what you got on this particular cruise, for the price that we paid, definitely a 5.
Big old 5, huh?
Big old 5.
Big old 5. I gave them a big old 5 as well on this one. So you have to. So, getting upgraded for $225 from an interior to an extended balcony, it is what it is.
But even if we hadn't, and again, we didn't experience the interior room, but still, even for $86 a day, you get so much for that amount of money.
Right. Okay, so all 5 categories are done now, and we have the final tally of all of our scoring done. So where did we end up? Well, I think you ended up at
I ended up at a total score, an average score of 4.
4. Okay.
I thought it was a really great trip. But Carnival has a few details that they could possibly work on. But overall, I thought the ship was gorgeous. I thought the service was really good. I thought the food was definitely not bad. I thought overall, it was a fantastic trip.
Yeah. Mine was a little bit higher. I came in at a 4.6. So kind of in between 4 and a 5. But yeah, everything about the ship for the most part in the trip was I think excellent. And I had a great time. And I think just about anybody that goes on this trip will enjoy themselves. We had a great port of calls. We went to Cabo and Ensenada and had a fabulous time there. And I wouldn't mind doing it in the future again.
Yeah, if you're looking for a cruise out of California, the Carnival Firenze is definitely a ship I would recommend you look into.
Definitely. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope this was helpful. Be sure to check out some of our other videos, and we'll see you next time. Happy cruising.
Happy cruising.